What is going on, my spiritual weirdo fam, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this Libra full moon video. No, this is just like the most Libra thing I've ever seen, right? This came in the spiritual goodies box that I announced in one of my last pick a card readings, and I do love it. It's like a rose quartz face roller. Super cute, definitely cute, but it's definitely a Libra thing, right? Anyways, welcome to this Libra full moon video, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tawny Astrology. Well, that's my channel name. My name is Tawny, but welcome. I am not all love, light, twin flames, and unicorns over here, so please keep that in mind. And welcome to the Libra full moon video. So basically today we are going to be talking about the Libra full moon and how it is going to affect us. Now, we're doing things a little bit differently today. I actually have my laptop in front of me with the Libra full moon chart pulled up, okay? So I'm not going to be reading off a bunch of notes like I usually am, because I don't know, I just feel like that's very distracting because I'm looking down at my notes and just reading what I wrote the whole time. And yeah, so I'm gonna kind of tell you what I see and give you anything that I channel intuitively in this video to hopefully help you navigate the energies this week. I do one of these videos for every new and full moon. And let me just tell you, the new and full moon this month in April, they are intense, man. They are intense, okay? So we have the full moon in Libra, which is happening this Tuesday, April 7th, depending on where you are at in the world. And it is happening around 10:35 to be exact, Eastern Standard Time, okay? But the Taurus full moon at the end of the month on the 22nd is also super freaking intense. So basically, that's the first key word here when you're thinking of this week. This week is going to be an intense week of facing truths, because what does Libra have to deal with, right? Libra deals with the truth, usually, right? It shows us that there's a cause and effect to everything, that there's a balance to everything, that there's a duality to everything. The sun is in the sign of Aries, which is why this is making this a full moon, because the sun in Aries is the opposite sign of Libra. Okay, so the sun in Aries and the moon in Libra makes this a full moon. It's when the sun and the moon are opposite each other, okay? And the earth is in the middle, right? So that is what makes a full moon. So when the sun is in Aries, right, we've been in Aries season, really focusing on our confidence, really focusing on our drive, what empowers us, focusing on the individual. Aries is the individual, okay? It's the individual. Libra is the sign of relationships. It's the sign of others, right? Doing things for others. It's the sign of balance, duality, and things of that nature. So there's a huge pull here between self and other. What I really see happening here is, because this full moon is almost squaring Pluto and Jupiter down in Capricorn. Pluto and Jupiter are conjunct. Pluto and Jupiter conjunct is basically a huge transformation. I kind of see it as like a ticking time bomb, or like an explosion in a sense. This is metaphorically, obviously, but Pluto is the planet of transformation, death, rebirth, deep hidden secrets, obsession, investigation, power, okay, resourcefulness. It also deals with more of a larger scale of those things, right? Which is why we've had so many Pluto transits, Saturn and Capricorn with Pluto, Mars going over Pluto, now Jupiter with Pluto. That's why, you know, that's a huge reason why this whole pandemic has been triggered, because Pluto deals with things on a large scale. It's generational. It takes so long to move through a sign. It's been in Capricorn since 2008, and it's not moving out of Capricorn for another few years, okay? With Jupiter conjunct Pluto, this is really going to expand, because Jupiter expands things. It makes things a lot bigger, okay? It can exaggerate, so there may be some exaggerated energy happening here. But so the moon and the sun opposite each other are making a square down to Pluto and Jupiter and Capricorn. So there's kind of like this triangle, right, that's forming. So it's putting this focus on our economy, because Capricorn rules the structure of things, the form of things, the physical form, what's in our physical lives, what's in our 3D world. It's kind of putting this pressure on the economy, the people in power, the wealthy even, because Jupiter can rule wealth and Pluto rules power. So we may see some things, some themes like that come up. Now this is also, I feel, triggering something here, triggering something where a decision may need to be made for either the self or the good of others, okay? Because like I said, Libra is about kind of detaching yourself so you can see all sides of a situation and so you can be fair about it, okay? And then we have Aries, which is about the self, okay? So this is something that deals with fairness. This is something that may deal with something that feels unjust or unjustified, something that feels like there's no justice or something along those lines, where, I mean, you can even think of the justice card in the tarot deck. We're essentially dealing with justice on a grand scale, okay? So I think this is going to be pretty interesting to see what happens. I think that there may be a lot of intensity, a lot of people on edge, to kind of generalize it. And I think that there also may be something that triggers something that may change a system that we've had in place for a long time, right, Capricorn? And this is truly showing us something to do with this new world and why things need to change, okay? Because this pandemic has shown us where the cracks are in the foundation, right? Like I said, Capricorn is the structure, the foundation. This pandemic has shown us a lot of where the cracks are that we knew were there, but we've just been still going about our everyday lives. This new moon could also bring about something out of the light, okay? This could bring up an old pattern or old habits in your personal life. This could bring up old cycles, okay, that are trying to repeat. And there's going to be some tension there with it. It's like we can't do what we always did, okay? There's no going back to the norm of how it was before. And so this full moon is really, sorry if I've been saying new moon, this full moon is really putting a focus on things changing, things shifting in a really big way, in a really expanded way, because it's highlighting, the two luminaries are squaring down to those planets, which is highlighting them. Okay, so it's putting our focus on what needs to change and big changes that need to happen. It's also highlighting things that may have been being done in the dark that weren't fair or weren't just. Like I said, there's a huge theme here of what's fair for everybody and what's fair for the individual. Okay, so we're weighing out a lot of things here as a collective and as a society, and even with the people in power in our world. So this is definitely going to deal with them. It's definitely going to deal with people in power, I feel here. So another thing that could come up here is the law, or the way that we go about the law in some way. What things need to change, what systems need to change, like I was kind of saying before. Now, on a more personal scale in your personal life, you may be confronted, okay, this week, because do remember that the full moon's energy will last the next couple weeks. So you may be confronted. You may be confronted with reflection, is what I'm seeing here. It could be in the form of another person. It could be in the form of some kind of incident or something that happens outside of you, something that kind of randomly changes or randomly blows up in your face and you're like, whoa, I didn't see this coming, or something that shifts that may be somewhat unexpected, because at this full moon, we will have Mars squaring Uranus, okay? So this can lead to a lot of edginess, a lot of change, a lot of wanting to force things, okay? A lot of unpredictability, possibly rebellion in some way, or even accidents. So you do want to be careful, because this full moon, man, the energy is high. I've been looking at this full moon for weeks now, and I'm just like, wow, that is a full freaking moon, man. Like a hell of a full moon. And even the Taurus new moon is going to be a hell of a new moon as well. But there may be a lot of fear that comes to the surface here, okay? And it's very important that you don't believe everything you hear, because we have Pluto and Jupiter making an aspect to Mercury and Neptune and Pisces. So there's going to be things that are going on in the media or whatever that are not quite clear. Something's not quite clear. And it's very important that we are trying to really look for the facts and the truth about things, especially with Venus and Gemini now, that we are looking for the facts about things instead of other people's opinions, other people's perceptions. This is really very much so about finding our own personal truth in our personal life. This is also very much so about relationships, okay? So there could be another person in your life that really does something that ends up reflecting something back in you, a truth about yourself, okay, or a truth about your life, a truth about something that you've been avoiding or that's been hidden from you or that's been subconscious, okay? So that's very important to watch out for too. Now, you guys know I always try to look at the Sabian symbols most of the time for, you know, certain aspects that are going on. And I think this is very, very interesting here. So for the full moon in Libra, the Sabian symbol would round up to 19, it would be 19 degrees. But the degree right before that, because I always like to look right before that because that's kind of the buildup, right? That's right before it's exact. So right before that, we have 2 men placed under arrest. And like I always say, I look on Lee Coleman's astrology site, which is Straight Woo. She's an excellent astrologer. I'm not sure if she's practicing anymore, but she has the Sabian symbols on her website, and then she explains her interpretation of them. So the Sabian symbol for 18 degrees Libra is 2 men placed under arrest. She has a breakdown in the constructive relationship between the individual and society and the expectable result. And I haven't even read this one yet, but I saw it here when I was about to read the other one and was like, whoa, that's interesting. So, a breakdown in the constructive relationship between the individual and the society in an expectable result. Very interesting. It says, if it is to remain steady and consistent, every form of order must be able to protect itself by the application of sanctions. Both a society and a personal ego constitute forms of order. Any form of order excludes what the form cannot securely and safely hold. It excludes or exiles the alien, the unadmissible, if it cannot send them to outer space. It must isolate them in a special type of inner space, a prison. The individual whose actions introduce unacceptable principles into the established order runs the risk of being punished or reformed according to this order. The problem for our society is how to include in its patterns of order agencies or channels of transformation, and particularly how to keep them truly operative. For individuals, it is how to make their transforming vision or impulse acceptable to society. The symbol does not reveal what caused the breakdown in the relationship between the individual and society. The suggestion is that whatever violence is released originates in unconscious pressures, the sea and the wind, a new step in the evolution of society, the industrial and electronic revolutions, which it's funny because Uranus is in Taurus. Uranus rules higher forms of technology. And it's in Taurus, which is industrial, right? So money, the 3D world, consumerism, and Uranus rules revolutions as well. So the industrial and electronic revolutions of the last 150 years caused a collective worldwide upheaval which led to widespread violence. The fact that 2 men are pictured under arrest suggests a polarization and a purpose transcending a merely personal fit of recklessness. Negative as the image may seem, one may see implied in it the power in every individual to assume social risk in order to express his convictions or deepest desires. Nevertheless, the one thing needed, facing the consequences. So, with that being said, I think we are going to start seeing people rebel. I think we are going to start seeing people do something similar to that, where they are risking society or risking the safety of other people by following their own individual will in some way. And I think consequences will definitely be a huge, huge theme in that, as well as possibly some kind of unexpected shift. I see it as being unexpected because Uranus is involved, okay? So this is going to bring unexpected change. Something unexpected is going to happen where people are risking, possibly risking something, the safety or the health of others in society in order to express their own individual impulses in some way. And we're probably going to hear about it on the media or something along those lines, okay? So the next Sabian symbol for the exact placement of the moon when it is full, all the way full, will be a gang of robbers in hiding. So she says, protest against disharmonic social privilege. One might rather think of Robin Hood and his band robbing banks to finance the revolution. The protest against an unbalanced society with its rigid stratification into classes can be seen as a positive factor, even if it challenges the principle of order, for it reveals dynamic qualities in individuals and the will to transformation. In another sense, it is the dark shadow of the ideal of non-possessiveness. The question is, how valid and effectual is this kind of protest? So that's another thing. I think we're going to see protest. I think we're going to see a collapse in the social systems of wealth and money and things of that nature. And I think that this Libra full moon is setting it up. Even if nothing happens exactly on the day of the full moon, something's going to happen, and it may be behind the scenes or it may not be. That's going to start kind of a domino effect for this kind of thing that is leading to some kind of revolution. But it's going to highlight, you know, the unbalance, okay, where we are imbalanced in this society, where we are imbalanced in the world. So she also says, what can this mean at this level? Perhaps the fact that any effective resistance to the momentum of crystallized institutions should be organized if it is to be effective. Individuals alone are impotent in producing actual changes in social consciousness. A group must be formed. The key words are group protest. So that's very interesting. Another thing that I wanted to read you guys that I found very interesting as well was the Sabian symbol for where Uranus is in Taurus at this time, which would be Taurus 6 degrees, and it says, a cantilever bridge across a deep gorge, the conquest of separateness through group cooperation. So I read that the other day and I was just completely mind blown, especially with everything going on. So it says the person who has suffered deprivation and loneliness can give new substance to his or her emotional life by participating in a collective project. All great evolutionary challenges imply the overcoming of basic difficulties. A step ahead must be taken, yet an abyss confronts evolving man. It is no longer a personal void, but a chasm in an integral part of the land upon which man's evolution must proceed. A link must be built through the power of the collective mind of the group or of the community at large, on the basis of the legacy of the past, to make a bridge over the canyon. The man-made bridge built with collective skill gives substance to and demonstrates man's capacity to conquer obstacles and to achieve evolutionary continuity as well as expansion in space. So very, very interesting stuff here. So that is basically what I am seeing for the Libra full moon. Let's go ahead and draw a few cards to see if we can get a few more pieces of information here. Ooh, right away we have the Hanged Man and the King of Swords. The Hanged Man can be conviction. The King of Swords can be legalities and all of that. Okay, so we have the Three of Cups. We also have the World that came out reversed. Interesting. So we are definitely, possibly, we haven't seen the end of something just yet. We haven't seen the end of something just yet, and you know, there may be something that comes back around that we thought we may have put an end to. This could also be in your own individual life, and it's definitely going to have to do with a social situation that could come up that may cause you to reflect and to face some kind of truth. It may cause you to feel stuck, okay? You may feel like you want to socialize, or you know, like this is basically social distancing right here, you know, not being able to get out in the world, see other people, all of that, feeling stuck at home, right? Feeling stuck at home, but this is a great time to focus on yourself, to basically do some kind of self-care, right? Because Libra is ruled by Venus, so this is a great time to focus on yourself, do some kind of self-care ritual or, you know, routine, whatever the case may be, And then we also have the Five of Cups, which I think is very interesting here. So I think something is going to hit us. I think we're starting to realize that, you know, we are moving into a whole new time, okay? But it's really important, yeah. It's really important that you don't focus on what was lost, or that you don't blame anybody else for taking it from you, okay? That you don't blame anybody else for taking it from you, because there's a higher order going on here that people just are not seeing. People are not seeing. So people may be irresponsible this week during this time. They may be very impulsive, like I was saying before. They may be acting on their impulses. It's also very important to forgive around this time as well, to, instead of seeing the differences between everything and the polarities between everything, start looking at how they're the same, or how someone around you is similar to you that is getting on your nerves, or something along those lines. That's what's truly going to help you in this, okay? Is having a sense of forgiveness instead of having a sense of anger, or, you know, anything like that. And honestly, facing the truth within yourself, facing the truth about who you are, and what it is that, any kind of behaviors or patterns that you've been stuck in, facing the truth about them, not comparing yourself to other people as well, okay? Now, we may see a lot going on social media with the World reversed and the Three of Cups here. There may be something on social media. Don't compare yourself to others on social media right now. It is not a good time. Because Libra, I find, as a Libra sun myself, I think Libra really compares itself to others a lot, because there's that contrast, there's that duality there, okay? And so it can really start comparing itself to others, and then get lost in that and lose itself in that. So try not to compare yourself to others on social media, because there's something that you're not seeing if you're doing that. Okay, you're not seeing it. Like, yeah, they may look good. They may be like sitting there rolling their face with the rose quartz face thing, you know what I mean? And working out every day, and taking pictures of how good of a cook they are, and how they eat vegan 24/7, and what the hell ever. You can't trust everything, okay? And that's what this is saying. Don't trust everything that you see. Don't trust everything that you see. Don't trust everything. Listen to your intuition, okay? So that is what I'm seeing this week for us, loves. Definitely let me know down below if you see anything this week that ends up proving my predictions right, or if you see anything this week in your own personal life that relates to this reading and the things that we've talked about here. I would truly, truly appreciate it. Tag me on social media if you'd like. If you do see anything, make sure to follow me on my social medias to keep up with me. I am the most active on Instagram, so definitely follow me there. The tarot course starts this week on the 7th. If you still want to sign up and it's after the 7th, you can. You will still be able to have access to the first, lesson that comes out. So anyways, I love you guys, and I will see you guys in my other videos. Bye.